The 14th century, a brutal age of conflict, iron will, and cold steel. Imagine thousands of men clad in armor, marching under heavy banners. Trumpets blare, drums beat, swords are drawn. This was the 100 Years' War, a sprawling conflict shaping nations. Out of this violence, a figure emerged. Edward of Woodstock, the Black Prince, England's warrior prince, epitome of martial prowess. His story is one of dazzling victories and audacious campaigns. What captured the imagination so fiercely? An aura, a presence, stories of his courage. He was a paradox, the flower of chivalry, yet a bringer of destruction. He lived the code of knighthood, yet his tactics were brutal. This is the story of that prince. We will journey back to those blood-soaked fields and royal courts. Explore his upbringing, debut at Crécy, and achievement at Poitiers. Look at the shadows that clung to his name and the controversies. Finally, consider his decline, early death, and complex legacy. Was he a hero, a villain, or simply England's deadliest medieval warrior? Edward of Woodstock, the future Black Prince, was born on June 15, 1330. He was the firstborn son of King Edward III and Philippa of Hainault. As the heir to a warrior king, young Edward's destiny was preordained. He was to be the embodiment of English strength. His education was comprehensive, focusing on the arts of war. He was immersed in the warrior culture of the age. He learned to ride, wear heavy armor, and hunt. Surrounded by seasoned knights, he absorbed tales of glory and combat. The political air he breathed was charged with the looming 100 Years' War. His father laid claim to the French throne, igniting a century of conflict. Young Edward grew up understanding that France was the enemy. He was actively prepared to take his place at the forefront of this struggle. Even in his youth, there were signs of the formidable warrior he would become. He possessed a natural aptitude for martial pursuits and a fierce determination. The steel was being tempered. The year was 1346. King Edward III launched a major invasion of Normandy. With him, at just 16, was his son, Edward of Woodstock. The young prince was given a significant command. The Battle of Crécy, fought on August 26, 1346, was a defining moment. The English forces took up a defensive position on a hillside. The French launched wave after wave of cavalry charges. The division commanded by the Black Prince found itself in the thick of the fighting. At one critical point, the prince was unhorsed. A message was dispatched to King Edward III, requesting reinforcements. The king's response became legendary. Let the boy win his spurs. The English archers played a crucial role in the victory. The young prince's division held its ground. Edward of Woodstock triumphed, demonstrating leadership and bravery. His legend had begun. Edward of Woodstock is known as the Black Prince, but where did this nickname come from? There is no evidence he was called the Black Prince during his lifetime. The moniker appears to have emerged much later. One theory is that he wore black armor, another suggests he carried a black standard. A more compelling theory links the black to his reputation. His campaigns involved brutal raids, spreading fear. The name Black Prince stuck, encapsulating his martial prowess and the grim reality of his warfare. It has contributed significantly to his enduring legend. 10 years had passed since the victory at Crécy. In 1356, the Black Prince led a major English chevauchée through France. King John II of France cornered the English near Poitiers. The Battle of Poitiers, fought on September 19, 1356, seemed destined to be an English disaster. The Black Prince's forces were heavily outnumbered. He chose his ground carefully, using the terrain to his advantage. The English archers wreaked havoc on the French. A surprise cavalry charge turned the tide of the battle. The English achieved a crushing victory and captured King John II of France. The Black Prince was lauded throughout England. He treated his royal captive with great chivalry and courtesy. Following the victory at Poitiers, the Black Prince was created Prince of Aquitaine. He established a lavish court in Bordeaux. The expenses of his court placed a strain on the principality's finances. He imposed new taxes which were deeply unpopular. The Gascon lords began to grumble. The prince's approach was often perceived as high-handed. The growing discontent within Aquitaine began to fester. The weight of the principality proved to be a heavy burden. Ruling a conquered territory was far more complex than conquering it. The Black Prince embarked on a military adventure in Spain. He supported Pedro the Cruel against Henry of Trastamara. The campaign culminated in the Battle of Najera. the prince demonstrated exceptional tactical skill. Pedro the Cruel was restored to his throne. However, the victory proved to be a hollow one. The English army was ravaged by disease. The Black Prince himself fell victim to illness. The illness contracted in Spain took a terrible toll on the Black Prince. He suffered from a chronic condition, leaving him weak. One controversial episode was the sack of Limoges in 1370. The city was besieged by the prince's forces. When it fell, a brutal massacre ensued. The prince was present but made no effort to stop the carnage. In 1371 he relinquished his command of Aquitaine. He returned to England, a broken man. On June 8, 1376, Edward, the Black Prince, died. England mourned the loss of its most celebrated warrior. Upon his death, the Black Prince was widely mourned in England. He was seen as the nation's champion. His victories at Crécy and Poitiers were legendary. However, in France, he was remembered as a ruthless conqueror. His chevauchés brought widespread devastation. Events like the sack of Limoges painted a picture of extreme cruelty. Was he a chivalrous hero or a war criminal? The Black Prince remains an enigmatic figure. His legacy is a tapestry of heroism, brutality, and chivalry. His story forces us to confront the complexities of heroism and the true cost of war.